Okay, I promise this isn't going to be the exact same video that you've seen like 50 times already. It seems that every YouTuber has gotten their hands on this webcam and made a video about it, but it's for a good reason. The Insta360 Link was one of the most unique webcams that came out in 2022 because unlike almost every webcam, this one has a built-in gimbal so that you can physically pan the camera around your room. And that gimbal isn't just a gimmick. It's got some really useful features like face tracking, gesture control, not to mention that the optics in the webcam are genuinely pretty great. I'm actually using it right now. But I wanted more because this webcam is a full PTZ camera. PTZ means pan, tilt, and zoom. And that gimbal is such a unique feature that I wanted to take full advantage of. Like, imagine being able to control the gimbal using just your voice. Or how about connecting the camera to Twitch chat so that your viewers can use channel points to point the camera at different parts of your room? Or how about the Stream Deck? Imagine being able to control this camera using your Stream Deck or even your phone. Now imagine if there was an OBS plugin that can do all of this. Spoiler alert, there already is one and you probably already have it installed. This video was sponsored by Insta360, so yes, they did send me out this webcam so that I could make this video, as well as the previous video that I did talking about all the features of this webcam, so if you haven't seen that, you can check that out up here. And I also have a 5% discount code, so if you do decide to pick up this webcam, the link will be down below for that. I'm not gonna rehash everything I said in the last video. There's like 30,000 videos on this webcam already. You get the point, it's a good webcam. But in summary, this is a 4K USB webcam that has software that can physically point the camera to different spots around your room. And combined with their software, you can do some really powerful things like tracking your face or tracking your whole body as you walk around the room. It's got a feature where you can physically point the camera down at your desk so it can double as a desk camera. And if you wanted to record vertical videos for like TikTok or something, the camera can physically rotate on its gimbal so you can take full advantage of that sensor. And they're still working on the software. Since the last video I made, they added a new feature called Smart Adjustment, where when you plug the webcam in, it will automatically look for your face to get the best angle. Also, if you disconnect the camera now and reconnect it, it's gonna remember the last position it was pointing at when you last plugged it in. And now there's also an option for a 4x zoom if you're recording in 4K. That's all the stuff that everybody already talked about in their video. I want to talk about something that nobody else talked about. So there are a couple limitations for this webcam. Number one, there's only 6 preset positions in the software, so there's an option where you can set up a preset position for different spots around your room, and you only have up to 6 of them. And I wanted to have like 1 million of them. And while you can control the gimbal by using hotkeys on your keyboard or clicking with your mouse inside the software, I wanted way more options than that. I wanted to be able to be on the other side of my room and control the camera with my voice, or use my Stream Deck to control the camera, or have my mods halfway across the world use commands in Twitch chat to control the camera. This is where an OBS plugin comes in called Move Transition. Now, you probably already have heard of Move Transition. If you don't know, it's this plugin for OBS that allows you to have these super smooth transitions between your scenes. Well, it turns out that plugin is actually way more capable than just that. You can control any PTZ camera like the Insta360 Link directly inside of OBS. The way it works is you would just add a simple filter to your camera, and by simply toggling on that filter, you can point the camera to anywhere you want in your room. And that makes this camera such a great webcam as like a room cam or studio cam. If you guys have an actual studio, this is my bedroom. Look, it's just my bed. I'm gonna get rid of it soon anyway. The point is, because it's just a simple filter inside of OBS, any way that you can find to turn that filter on and off can be used to control this webcam. You see where I'm going with this? That means you can control this webcam with a Stream Deck, with your phone if you use something like Touch Portal, you can use StreamerBot, Atem, Sammy, whatever you want. As long as you can turn on a filter on and off, that's it. That's all you need. So let's jump into OBS and I'll show you how it all works. This is the setup that we're working with, and I got another camera that's pointed at the webcam so you can see it as it moves. But the first thing we need to do is install the Move Transition plugin. So it's pretty straightforward. You go to the link in the description and you just click download and click the installer and go through all the steps. It's the same as installing any other OBS plugin. But after you've installed the plugin, you go into OBS and find your webcam and just go into the filters. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a filter that when we enable that filter, it's going to point to wherever we want. So click on the plus and you're gonna see an option that says Move Video Capture Device. Then in the device dropdown, select the Insta360 link and change the move value type to settings. And what this is gonna do is every single time that we turn this filter on, it's going to point the camera to wherever we want in the room. And that position where we point the camera is defined by our pan, tilt, and zoom settings. So we're gonna check all of those boxes. Now this is where the cool stuff happens. If I change the value of those 3 fields, so for example, if I tilt the camera up and then turn the filter on, look what happens to the camera here. Look, it's gonna physically point up. See how it physically points up? And then I can tilt it up even more if I want to. Moves up even more. But it gets better because if I scroll all the way to the bottom and I click this button that says Get Value, it's going to save the current position of the camera to this filter. So now if I was to go into the Insta360 software and let's just say I move the camera around, let's just point it up here. Now, if I want to go back to the position that I was already on, I go back into OBS and I just turn that filter on, and it's gonna snap the camera back to where it was before. This is so useful because this is just a simple filter. So I can have as many of these filters as I want for different positions around my room. So if I make a duplicate of this, and then I go into the Insta360 software, I'm gonna point it at this Natello logo up here, okay? So I'm just gonna drag here and just zoom in with my mouse, all right? And then back in OBS, I'm gonna go down for this second filter. I'm gonna scroll all the way down and click Get Value. Now if I go back up, you'll see how the pan, the tilt, and the zoom settings have changed. So if I click on the first filter, it's gonna snap on my face. If I click on the second filter, it's gonna go back on that Natello logo. And I can have as many of these as I want. I'm gonna make another duplicate, go back into the Insta360 software, and this time I'm gonna point it at my ceiling. I got a hidden message on my ceiling. This message has been on my ceiling since last year. Anyway, we're gonna go back and we're gonna click on Get Value again. And so now we have 3 different preset positions. So if I click the first one, this will be in my face. The second one, the Natello logo, and then the third one will be on the ceiling. Hopefully you can see where this is going, right? So now that we've got these 3 simple filters on our webcam, if we want to control the Insta360 from something like a Stream Deck, all we need to do is add a simple filter toggle for each of the filters that we just created. And now we have buttons on our Stream Deck that can move the Insta360 to each of the preset positions we made. Or we could do a similar sort of thing using StreamerBot. All we would do is we would add an action that turns on any of those 3 filters. Then we would run that action using a voice command or a chat command or a Twitch channel point reward. And this is what that would look like. So here I've got 3 separate actions I've created inside of StreamerBot, and literally all they do is they just turn on a filter inside of OBS. And so what I can do now is I can go over into the Twitch tab and I can just like create a new channel point reward. So I'm just gonna add one. Add that channel point reward and it automatically appears inside of my Twitch chat. And so now look what it does. If I redeem this, automatically points my camera to the ceiling. And I can do the same thing in the voice control tab if I want to make it voice controlled. So I would just right click and add a new voice command. Show me the frog. Okay, add that. And then when I say that command, show me the frog, it points it right at Pepe. Don't look at that. Now, don't get me wrong, having preset positions to move your camera and point to is a cool idea, but what about just nudging your camera left and right or up and down? Like, imagine a Twitch channel point reward where your viewers can just nudge your camera a little bit, and so they can work together to like find different objects around your room. I had this idea where I hide a Waldo somewhere randomly in my room, and so whenever I take a BRB break, I turn on some channel point rewards so that my viewers can search around the room and look for that Waldo. And I was able to create that effect inside of Move Transition as well. So this is the way that I did it. We're gonna go back into OBS and we're just gonna make a duplicate of any of the filters we made earlier. But this time we're gonna change the move value type to add. And what I want this filter to do is every time I turn this filter on, I just want it to nudge my camera a little bit to the right. So we're gonna set the setting to camera control pan, and then we're gonna change this value to, we're gonna change it to just 5. And what this setting does is every time I turn this filter on, it's going to add 5 to the pan setting. So if I turn this on, moves a little bit to the right, and I can just keep adding to it and it'll keep moving to the right. But then if I do the opposite, so we're gonna make another duplicate, and this time we're gonna change the add value. We're gonna set this to -5. So now if I turn this one on, it's gonna pan my camera to the left. And I'm just gonna rename both of these filters to pan plus and pan minus. And then we're gonna repeat the same thing for the tilt value. So we're gonna make a duplicate of this one again, and we're gonna call this one tilt plus. And this time we're gonna change the setting to control tilt. And then we'll make a duplicate of this pan minus, and we'll call this one tilt minus. And we'll change this to camera tilt. And then finally, we'll do the same thing for our zoom value. So how zoomed in our camera is. So again, make another duplicate. We're gonna call this one zoom plus, and then change the setting to camera control zoom. And this time we're gonna set the value to +20. And then make another duplicate, and we're gonna go in the opposite direction, zoom minus, and set the value to -20. And so now we have 6 extra filters that we can use to control our camera. So if we want to tilt the camera up, we just repeatedly press this tilt plus. Or if we want to zoom in on our camera, just repeatedly zoom plus. Same thing with panning. If we want to go to the left, go pan minus. And if we want to reset it to the original position, we can, of course, enable that original face filter that we made earlier, and that will go back to our face. And then we can do the same thing that we did before. If we want to control our camera using our Stream Deck, then we're going to add 6 more filter toggles for each of those 6 filters that we made. But I think the most fun use case for this is to let your Twitch viewers control your camera using channel point rewards. And the easiest way to do that is to use something like StreamerBot or Atem and just create an action that toggles each of those 6 new filters that we added. Then create 6 new channel point rewards to move the camera left and right, up and down, zoom in, zoom out. And now if you want to take a BRB break in the middle of your stream, you can let your viewers just hunt for Easter eggs that you've left hidden around your room. Kind of like the equivalent of like putting an iPad in front of a baby's face, you know, just keeps them engaged. But the point is, now that we can control the Insta360 link directly inside of OBS, it just opens up endless possibilities for how we can control this webcam. So if you guys have any cool ideas for what we can do, then let me know and I might do it on my Twitch stream. So did I mention I stream on Twitch? You should come watch me. Maybe we can find Waldo together. But guys, let me know what you think of this webcam down below, because this is one of the most fun pieces of gear that I've had in a really long time. Again, quick reminder, if you want to get 5% off on this webcam, the links are down below. Other than that, thank you guys. Have fun, enjoy your week and all that stuff, and goodbye.